So, are you still awake? I hope so after that interesting talk. So, my name is Prabitha Urwyler. I think we're waiting for the slide on the big screen, sir. Yes. So, I'm coming from Switzerland, basically from India originally. I came to Switzerland in 1997 as a software engineer. Today, I'm representing the FIDE Social Commission here. I also am the president of the Tournament Commission of the Swiss Chess Federation. And yes, I have a background in biomedical engineering and neuroscience. I got into chess because of my son, so I'm a chess mom. That's what I call myself. And I also have run 2 companies and entrepreneurship. These are all my voluntary jobs. As my paying job, I work for the Swiss government as an officer for bilateral cooperations. So before I start, I would like to call upon the oldest member in the audience on stage. Georgie, please. Because my topic, So here we have, the topic is chess for elderly. So here we have from the Menorcan Chess Club.
My English and my voice is not good, but I think I can be able to explain if you have.
So his English is not good, but his chess skills are better than most of us.
I am young of 84 years. And I beginning to play at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, at 8 old.
So
My father don't play chess, but play damas. And at 4 years, I play damas. At 8 years, I changed to chess. And chess accompany all my life, But I think is one thing, one question I will say. The chess in education is to help others teams and other things, And when I release school to the boys, I speak as a company, with the pawns, the king is the actionist. Well, not the war. And I don't know what.
Okay. Anyway, thank you. Yes, just wait. So, I'm going to present something, but he has challenged of what I present from scientific research. So he plays chess every day on Lichess at the age of 84. So that needs an applaud. Thank you. Please go ahead. Hello. I think I got it. I see the button. Yeah, thank you. So as we mentioned, aging, one is aging, then there's healthy aging, and then there's a term called cognitive aging. So this is cognitive aging. So what are the benefits and what are the strengths and weaknesses in old age? So what you see, the upper line, the red line, that's your strength in old age. So you gradually, as we all age, we have accumulated a lot of knowledge and wisdom. And there are some cultural things. This stays on, and this basically you're then better than the younger generation because of these gained accumulated wealth, what you have. But then what decreases once you cross your middle adulthood is the processing speed, is the speed of learning something new. But important to be noted that these skills can be trained, so we still have hope. And these are basically intellectual abilities which we develop, and they are independent of the knowledge and experience we collect over here. But now moving on, why is cognition important? So cognition, we all know it's important to function day-to-day life. But the moment this cognition starts interfering in your everyday life, that's when we have a problem, and then mild cognitive impairment comes in and dementia comes in. So initially, as you see, cognitive function, excellent. You can find your cup, you can find your socks, you find your clothes, you know your way, and then you come home. Then suddenly, when the reserve is going down, there's a modest decline. Probably your own family members will know it, not people from outside, and that's when mild cognitive impairment comes into picture. And neuroscience and our research says that from mild cognitive impairment, you can get back to normal if we start having some competence mechanisms. And then we know from research, we can prolong this rate of decline by changing lifestyle factors. So here at the very end, what you see here, the severe cognitive impairment is when we start seeing problems in your day-to-day life. So when your cognition has a major effect on your day-to-day life, when you start forgetting the names of your own kids, right? That's where you then go towards dementia. But we are now talking about when we are in between normal aging and mild cognitive impairment. So how can we improve? How can we influence all our cognition? And we know that lifestyle factors, it's proven. We've been, first of all, thanks to the speakers, the first two speakers from today, they've done our job easy, so I'm skipping. I changed my slides after that. So I changed it. So physical activity, yes, that's a must. There are 4 main lifestyle factors that can affect cognition and keep us healthy. Physical activity, nutrition, diet. You are blessed to be here in the Mediterranean region. And stimulating cognitive activities. Chess belongs to one of them, and which I have not put on the slide is sleep. Please remember, sleep is important. Why? First of all, it's in your sleep that you consolidate what you have learned, and then that's a mechanism to flush out your neurotoxins. So the 4th factor is sleep. And so exercise, nutrition, diet, and cognitive stimulating exercise, and we do know that previously, it was board games, and my earlier speaker told about many different things. But chess, it's easy to implement anywhere. You just need a board, and you just need an opponent. You can also do it just singly, thinking of an arm. So it is not heavy to be implemented, and that's why we're taking chess. And here, so what happens when you do these simulating activities? So what you do is basically one of our speakers today morning spoke about what is called a cognitive reserve. So when you deplete your reserve, that's when you start showing the effects in your day-to-day life. So by doing all these lifestyle changes, what you build on is you build on your cognitive reserve. And by building on your cognitive reserve, you improve your quality of life. And this is the whole concept behind what I'm going to talk, or we as a society should be doing. And there is enough literature that shows us lifestyle factors, they do protect against cognitive aging, which is then independently on dementia and improving cognitive health on the whole. So I saw today the first speaker today morning showing us where's your temporal lobe, where's your frontal lobe, occipital. So I decided to get rid of it and just show what is important here. So what are the main, we know that when you play chess, you're doing many skills together. It's as a component, it's putting in too many skill sets, activating in an integrated approach, as well as enjoyable for people who enjoy playing chess. And so what we do is, you see here, there are different neurocognitive domains. You have the attention domain, the memory domain, executive functions, then there's social cognition, and as well as some visual, spatial, motor functions involved too when you have to do your hand movements. So chess is actually linking all of this together. So which means you're reaching out to the different regions of your brain, and then it also then leads to neuroplasticity. We do know that when there's a connection lost, when you train over time, neuroplasticity sets in and you build up the new connections, which we have shown in DTI studies. So here, strategic thinking, we all know that it's about thinking. You need to plan your next move, you need to analyze your opponent's moves, and then make decisions. So what does chess do? We've heard enough of today, but just to complete my lecture, I'll go through that. Strategic thinking memory enhancement. What is known about dementia? Memory. Short-term memory is the thing that you lose first. You maintain long-term, but short-term memory is what you lose. So by thinking of your patterns and recollecting what you've learned and what you want to bring on board, you start training those domains of memory. So you train your short-term memory as well as your long-term memory. You need to do this constant recall, and that is very important for your cognitive health. And second, and then problem solving. This is linked to your strategic thinking because you have a problem on the board, your opponent is your problem, and then you sorry, your opponent's move, not your opponent. I correct myself. So what you have to do, you need to solve that problem, and then you build your own plan to solve that problem. That's what is very helpful. And you can then translate this into your real life problems. It is now, there are some talent hire managers who think that people who play chess are the best managers. And this is where chess can also build the future skill sets. There's decision making. Of course, it's again linked to strategic thinking. That is, you risk your move, you plan, you risk, because you have to think many moves ahead. So there's a risk mitigation, what you're putting it in, and that's all about decision making and critical thinking. Then psychological benefits. We just had competition right before me in the previous talk. In one way, there's stress reduction when it's not at the competitional level. And then there's, if a small child, I'm telling you this because my son was an Asperger at the age when he started playing. And the confidence you get when you win, that's again building confidence. And then even that you can sit through and play for 4 hours, that's confidence building. When teachers and parents see that something like this can happen. And this, when you go towards old age, when your own children can see that your parents are capable of doing something. And increased confidence, I said, improved mood because of all the neurotransmitters that are involved when you're engaging with family. We spoke about dopamine, but there's also serotonin coming into a picture. And then the sense of accomplishment. So this is how chess as a whole brings into life skills. And then this is connected to my earlier slide. As I said, it does the same, whatever it does to younger kids at a very young age, even at the elderly stage. It's improved cognition, enhanced memory, retention and recall, problem solving skills. And then the biggest thing, what we are now aiming for as in Social Commission, is the social interaction and an engagement. Firstly, the competitive aspect, you need a partner to play, and you then, while playing, you also discuss, you talk, then you strategize. It doesn't need, well, when you bring chess as in to old age homes, it's not that you play a game board with 64. Just take one set, solve the move in one step, so 2 steps. Then you start discussing with your opponent, and that's when the social interaction happens, not when you do a match. So why were I focusing on social interaction? We do know that loneliness is the upcoming epidemic. And UK government already has a minister for loneliness. And I think Sweden also. Jesper, is it true you have a minister for loneliness too? Okay, so it's UK and Sweden who has appointed, and this is to tackle the loneliness problem. And this is where we thought chess could be, and basically loneliness is a problem after the pandemic, in the digital age, and for people who enter into institutionalization in old age homes. And I think if you know the difference between having too many friends and loneliness, you can have 100 friends, but you can still be lonely. So there's a big difference there, and that's what we're trying to tackle with social engagement of chess. And of course, the mental health benefits by having all the social interactions, increasing our self-esteem. There has been studies done in New York, and there has some measurements done. While you interact, due to those internal neurotransmitters that are done and the accomplishment, you can get rid of anxiety, get rid of depression, whoever has it. So with that, the main goal, what I just want to say is, yes, with chess, even at the elderly ages, there's an overall cognitive benefit and a mental benefit. So it's an overall improvement in quality of health. So here I've just summarized some of the studies from some of the meta-analysis that have been done. The Journal of Aging Research just shows that regular chess playing among the elderly is associated, I'm talking with association, with better cognitive health, improved reasoning, and problem-solving skills. Then engaging in these mentally stimulating activities helps the delay of onset. Here I'm mentioning it's the delay on onset. We don't say we're going to cure it, just prolonging the decline. And there was another meta-analysis which says better cognitive in the domains of memory, retention, processing speed. Then there was a recent study from the Mayo Clinic which was done, and they found out that when you compare players who are playing regular chess and players who do not play regular chess, 73% decrease the likelihood who develop a mild cognitive. That's the difference, the risk ratio they had there. The American Association of Retired Persons reported 85% reported improvements in their memory, which they could then see it affecting their day-to-day life. There was recently a pilot study which was using online chess. So the earlier ones were not using online chess. The pilot study was using online chess. It was 7 men, 5 women, all above 65 years, and they played 3 months of online chess, 90 minutes each, chess.com and Lichess. And Mr. Bhatt has compared the teaching, and what he found that the elderlies, they enjoy playing in a group and learning from each other. And there was, when I summarize what I saw in the other literature as the elderly parents, they are timid and they are afraid of losing. So this is the reason when I look at literature, they're afraid of making mistakes and they're afraid of losing. So for the elderly, I do not talk of senior chess when I speak of elderly chess. So we all know we have senior competitions. What we are talking of people, it's not as a competition, as a social game. So instead of having a whole chess game, rather it's good to have a smaller version of these games where you just have patterns and looking for patterns. Now, why I am talking of patterns, so visual search is something we use in our day-to-day life. It's as very simple as you open a drawer and you want to look for that knife, or you open your socks and you need to find the right socks. So that's how you transfer. So you can just put four of them, or say find the path where the queen has to move or the bishop has to move. So that's when you start thinking spatial navigation and visual search. Before you do your navigation, your eyes have to move before your brain has to move in, and that's where visual search comes into picture. And this is very, very important. It's not just for elderly, I think even for all of us. After the age of 40, that's when the decline starts, and you need to have a compensation mechanism for it. The continuation, there was Dr. Crespo who concludes in her large sample that the research of chess being protective against dementia, there's very sparse research and there needs to be more research and it's inconclusive. But what has been shown in another paper in 2021 is a significant improvement in cognition and quality of life with positive effects in attention, executive function, processing speed. And this was 12 weeks with 60 minutes of sessions per week. There was another study from 2003 and 2001. Now this is going back to today morning's first talk, is the brain regions. So as we said, there's a default mode network, and there are different regions of your brain depending on when attention is involved. And there are studies which shows that experts, grandmasters, use your brain differently. So how do they know that it's good? Because it was in their PET imaging, they could see that areas in the frontal lobe, because they do not need their short-term memory, grandmasters. So they just could activate, whereas novice players who are not as experienced, they do calculations on the go. So the brain regions which were activated were different. So this is what you see. And the 2003 and 2001 studies definitely showed that various brain regions are done, and this is very important because when you start activating those brain regions, you start making new connections, even though there are some connections which are disrupted, which happens already much prior to mild cognitive impairment organically in our brain. Then I do not know if there are psychologists here. There's a lot of work going in blended psychotherapy these days, and chess could be thought of blended psychotherapy. So it's very important to take this as how can chess improve quality of life. There is one paper I thought was very interesting, and this is a very recent one, 2023. It was a 6 weeks blended care chess training for elderly people, and it was in 4 retirement homes. And this is where we as the Social Commission, Chess for Elderly, want to reach out, is to reach out to different retirement homes, different care homes, where we can bring this as a blended therapy and include them into the regime, because they are already overburdened with different tasks they have to do. So, how could we design that? Definitely, apps is one way, but they should have enough cognition or enough intelligence to use the apps. And you need to simplify the lessons that we teach for kids. You need to simplify it, make it easy, that it's adaptable to the adult's level. We do know that processing speed, language skills, physical impairments do come in with elderly when we get, and we need to take care of all that and adapt our training lessons. And I do not know, I would definitely like to speak to Education Commission about the clock, because we do know that clock, when you see time, it's anxiety for the elderly. So how can we get rid of a clock if at all we have to do a tournament with the elderlies? And then identifying community centers, retirement homes, where you can conduct these chess lessons and structured lessons depending on the levels. And also there might be elderlies, thanks to our expert players, who want to play a match. So we should be in a position even to offer them matches. What would be the best timings for the match? Is rapid not a good idea, but 60 minutes is again too long. So to find a solution there. So I think to summarize that, yeah, adaptation is very important. We just can't go with the normal programs we have. And what are the challenges? As I said, challenges: age-related cognitive decline, slowing the processing speed, both in movements, in action, and processing here. Then the big 64 board, there's a comprehension which goes in. They have to understand what they're telling you, both language and visually. And plus the strict rules we have in chess. What is what, because there might be players who know what chess is, but there might be players or students who have no idea what chess is. So that's quite a lot of comprehension at that age. Then there's resource limitations. We all know that if you go to your grandmother and show them a new game or app, there is resistance to technology. So how do we get rid of the resistance to technology in an old age home? How do we get them play an app on an iPad or a mobile phone? Usually they have visual impairment, and the dexterity is a problem. And then as you get old, there's paralysis of the fingers, so you have no feedback to the brain. So that is a problem we have to take care of. Physical limitations, chest weight. For us, it may not have weight, but when you have paralysis, you don't feel the weight. And since the grip is a problem when you get old, how do we handle this? So these are some conditions we need to think of. And I think the biggest problem we will all have is to develop a strategy to overcome this apprehension and the resistance. And otherwise, I think a chessboard is easily available. It's not very expensive. Pieces can be got, but then volunteer work and people to help us carry out these operations in different countries and different cities, and that is going to be a problem for us. It's not moving. Now, so if I summarize what I've said, that we need to do more research as instead of doing silo research, which I just found out, there's a lot of work being done. We need to combine all that and present it to our governments, to our authorities. And main statement, chess is not meant to cure dementia. It's just to delay and to reduce the risk of one getting dementia. And the benefits, as we said, cognitive improvement. Then there's adaptations of the brain regions when you trick. So neuroplasticity sets in, social interaction, mental stimulation, and the slower, most important, while we do instructions, we need to go slow with the elderly. We cannot do at the same pace as we do with kids. Group-based instructions is a must because we are trying to bring in the social interaction. There's a quantum entanglement that happens, neurotransmitter exchange between elderly when they sit in a group and practice. And more important is, if somebody is diagnosed already with mild cognitive impairment, so that's anywhere on a MoCA score below 26 to 23, technology is difficult. Do not try to bring in technology for those sets. So about that, it's okay. So that was it, and now I just move on to who is who Social Commission. So we have our Swiss Chess Federation President, Andre, who is also leading the chair on the Social Commission. We have a new secretary, Lasma, who has joined us recently. And Frank did speak today morning, so we know how active he's been in France, as well as he's helping us in the Social Commission. There's Chess for Freedom, which just got an award in the Anthem Awards this year for Diversity Inclusion Committee. So there's Mikhail. Chess for Protection, this is the refugee. We have started it recently. Sonia has been very active. It is in Kenya, in the Kakuma camp, and we're now trying to build up a girls' refugee team coming to play in the Olympiad in Budapest. I think Anastasia was mentioned today morning. She's also very active in the Chess for Autism Spectrum Disorder. I myself currently am involved in doing chess for addiction. So when we talk of addiction, it's substance disorder, alcohol, online chess, and we're trying to see clinics all over Switzerland where we can bring chess as a therapy once a week. And indirectly, what I'm trying here is also to develop questionnaires to measure the impact in social life or in quality of life. Doctors have given some statements. I'm trying to convert this. And now the question is, it doesn't help for me to just focus on Switzerland. So when we develop such a questionnaire, and it needs to be then replicated in different languages in different countries because it needs to be evaluated in different cultural setups and in different groups. So would be very happy that if whoever addiction field to just contact us here. The same goes to elderly and autism, so we can bring them all under one umbrella. I think when we get together, there's more strength. And the Chess for Elderly, again, I know, I'm just aware from Jesper that there's something happening in Sweden. I've heard from Turkey, so I'm trying to look out for connections to expand the projects, Chess for Elderly. So what am I here for? Yes, let's work together and spread our work, visibility, as well as research. Does your country have any social projects which could connect chess? Then please contact the FIDE Social Commission. And Chess for Life, as I said, addiction, we are looking for clinics and researchers. And for elderly, we would like to talk to the Education Commission because we want simpler exercises there and replicate the program in different homes. And here, I'm just bringing up from my friend, there is a call which is open with the deadline of tomorrow, but what you need is just one paragraph. I'm bringing in this in because today morning you said innovation, social, and looking for funding. So there's one opportunity in case you have, and since I work currently in funding institutes of the governments, I do know that there is funding available. So in case you need help, just reach out to me. I will see what is available in the Europe region. So with this, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to take questions. Thank you.